about to let y'all know how we rep the Cowboys out here in the DMV.
What up with y'all, man? It's your boy John G, and I just wrapped up watching the Amazon Prime All or Nothing Season 3 of the Dallas Cowboys, and I wanted to give a quick review. Now, what I wanted to do right now is to let you guys know this is the disclaimer that there will be some spoiler language in this thing. Like, I will be giving away some spoilers, but I wanted to get a review out there for those that have watched it and see if you see the same things that I saw. I absolutely loved it, first and foremost. And I knew that it would give me a different perspective on what the Cowboys organization, how it is. You know, I wanted to look at my perceptions of people and actually compare it to what it really is. And I think that this was probably one of the best documentary type series for a football team. I've been the person that really liked Hard Knocks at first, but then got bored with it. And this absolutely blows Hard Knocks out of the water. I'm not interested in watching any more football documentaries unless it's NFL films or All or Nothing, man. It was just absolutely great. So without any further ado, I'm going to get into the meat of this thing. First and foremost, I'm going to jump into the million-dollar question because I know that a lot of people are watching this trying to figure out why Dez got cut. And I'm going to personally tell you guys, Dez Bryant is a nut. But I'm going to say he's not a distraction. He's somebody that's just absolutely crazy about the game of football. So much that he can't really control his own damn emotions, man. Like, he can't get out of his own way. Like, he's in his own head. He's just like somebody that, you know, he just has so much built up frustration that, you know, he's somebody that has to work it out for himself. He's somebody that, you know, I had a kid that I coached where, you know, they would come in so angry and you got to make sure that they're smiling and all of that type of stuff. And, you know, maybe the organization just got tired of that type of energy, just having to, you know, feel like, oh, I got to cheer him up every day or whatnot, or just to make sure that he's having a good day. But, I mean, he loves the game. There's a part in it where he actually explains his love of the game and why he was so frustrated. But he's absolutely a great teammate, man. He's patting people on the back, man. When you score a touchdown, he's the first over there, man. I was actually really shocked that I did not see any meltdowns. Now, I will tell you that there was probably some stuff they left out, you know, where we didn't see behind the scenes or whatnot. But I didn't see any meltdowns, and I didn't see anything really that was alarming to where he was such a firecracker that people are trying to make it seem like. There was a part where the broadcasters were saying that he was only saying he got the ball thrown to him 2 times, but he really was saying was that, you know, they played cover 1 2 times. So, I mean, he just has horrible body language that looks a lot worse to the cameras and the people up in the booth than what it really is. And the thing that I took from him really is that he lost a step and he was just the last to know it. He can still play at a high level, man, but he's at the crossroads point now where he kind of has to adjust his game. And obviously they cut him before he was able to adjust his game. As you guys know, that's not a spoiler. That's just a fact. But one of the main things that I wanted to see was his relationship with Dak Prescott. Was it like a point where they just weren't getting along? And I never saw that, man. Him and Dak were just the best. They felt like they were getting chemistry towards the end of the year. Like, people tried to drive that wedge between those two, and it just did not seem like it was there. Now, this is a part in the series that I thought was really weird because I saw this a lot of the time. But it seemed like Sean Lee was pretty much running the defense throughout, man. Like, whether it was a linebackers meeting or if it was a whole defensive unit meeting, it just appeared that Sean Lee was running the whole meeting. Sean Lee was asking guys questions. Sean Lee was running the film. Like, I thought it was weird because, you know, Eberflus was in there. He said a little bit. I never really saw Marinelli in there like that. But it just appeared that Sean Lee was the coach. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what that meant, but I do know at the end of the series, Jason Garrett pretty much said that there was going to be some turnover as far as the coaches are concerned. You know, guys rolling their eyes, this and that, and, you know, we got to be on one accord. So that was one thing that I saw that was really weird, and it was especially towards the end of it where it just appeared that Sean Lee was running everything. And, I mean, we already knew that he was really smart, but, man, let me tell you something. That guy right there knows the ins and outs of everything. He knows the rhythm. He knows the rhythms. He knows the cadences. He knows if you lean this way, you lean that way. I mean, like, the guy is just he's a brainiac when it comes to the sport of football. Now, this was really, really, really shocking to me, man. I was really not expecting this, man. I thought Jerry Jones behind the scenes would go off, this and that, demand this, demand that. This guy right here is such a grandpa, dude. When you guys think that Jerry is going to be rolling heads, no, Jerry's the type of guy, oh, Zeke's had a hard day today. I can't imagine what he's going through. You know what I mean? I'm going to stop calling him Jerry and start calling him Grandpa Jerry. Or maybe he softened up or whatnot. Maybe Steven took over where he left off. But, man, when Zeke was going through all of that stuff, man, he let him know he had his back and all of that type of stuff. I really was expecting more. When they were getting their ass kicked, he would go in there and tell them, before the coaches would get a chance to talk to him, not to make it any more than what it is, and he knows that that's not them. Man, I mean, he softened the blow before he knew Jason was going to whoop that ass. It was almost like he really was a grandparent, and that's what he is to these guys. I'm not necessarily sure. Maybe that spoils them a little bit. Maybe that's why we're as soft as candy when it comes to certain adversities. But, hey, that's really what I saw from this. A lot of guys believe that Jason Garrett's a puppet or whatnot, but it's really just Jason Garrett being the hard parent and Jerry coming in and, oh, it's okay. I remember when you were like that. And you guys are going to see it if you haven't seen it already. I thought that was not weird, but it was something that definitely shocked me. And I would have never known that had I not watched this. Now, the Anthem Protest. Now, this right here was something that was pretty shocking to me because I was surprised to see how the staff was really befuddled about what to do about it. You know, they had a couple of staff meetings where they were trying to address what to do because Donald Trump made the comments about, benching players if they protest and all of that type of stuff. And it was a Monday night game with the Cardinals. So everybody else, there was protests all over the league or whatnot. And, they were trying to figure out what to do, whether or not they should take a stance. And this was something that Jason Garrett brought up. And Frank Pollack took the stance that, it really should just go back to, football just being 3 hours of just football and that's it. And I kind of agree with that because before all of this national anthem stuff before the games, they didn't televise that and the players were back in the locker room and stuff like that. So I definitely agree with that. But when money got involved in this situation, then all of a sudden now it's such a big thing where players need to be on the line with their hands over their hearts and stuff like that. And you can clearly see that Scandrick, even though they decided, Jerry asked the guys to take a knee with them so that they could all do it together, whatever they're doing, they're going to do it together. You can clearly see that when they asked the players after they kneel to go back to the line and put their hands over their hearts, you can clearly see Scandrick put his hands behind his back, which he did clearly all season. I really had no idea that went on, but that's probably one of the real reasons that he is gone. And so, weeks leading up to that, weeks after that, they decided to just go back to the regular feet on the line, hands over the heart situation because it was such a distraction. They had to revisit it, and Jason Garrett just didn't want to deal with that anymore. But I really thought that this team was just we're not with that nonsense type stuff. But no, they really cared about the issue, and I really appreciate that as a fan. And also being a coach, I also understand what it is like to deal with distractions and then, having to answer those type of questions. Now, I've never had to personally do that, but if you're just worried about, if you're just trying to win football games or whatnot, and you're not trying to deal with that and either the backlash from your players and from your organization, and you just kind of want to, get back to business, I definitely understand why Jason Garrett decided to go back to, everybody doing what we're supposed to do. Not to mention Jerry also was fighting with the league at the time like that as well. So I definitely understand all sides of this now. One thing that I came to find out is that whether you like him or not, I already knew this, but a lot of people don't, and a lot of guys want him replaced. But Dak Prescott is your quarterback. He's a great leader. He's a guy. He's a glue guy where he holds a lot of guys together. When bad things are going on, Dak Prescott is constantly bringing guys together. He's constantly if you're in the dumps, he's constantly bringing your spirits back up. He's a great spirit guy. He's tough as nails. That New York game where he came out, where he had the hurt hand, came out there and had the game that he did. I mean, I've known this for a while, but he really showed the leadership that I thought that he could show. And whenever somebody, made a mistake, he literally went right to them and picked them up. And at some point, though, he's going to have some kind of fire under him, because you can't keep picking guys up when they're making mistakes if they keep making mistakes. At some point, he's going to have to get in somebody's ass. Pause. Like, he's going to have some assertiveness at some point. I know it's his second year in, and, you had older guys on the team possibly for that, and you had coaches for that. But as a quarterback, he's going to have to do that. And I felt that there were times that maybe he could do that with Dez, or maybe they knew not to do that with Dez because Dez would go off or whatnot. But I thought that he's the quarterback. He's the leader of the team. If there's anybody that can do that, it should be him. Jason Garrett is not the puppet that we thought he was, man. Like, I mean, the dude, I thought that he was just some red-haired saint-type guy that just doesn't say anything, and he just has a quiet demeanor, and the guys just don't respect him. But, man, he drops more F-bombs than the damn sailor, man. Like, he drops more F-bombs than anybody I've ever heard. He says a lot of motivational things. Everything that he does is meticulous and detailed. He definitely has the command of the room for the most part when you see him leading the coaches' meetings, and everybody's attentive for the most part until... I mean, you wouldn't have known that there were problems until the end of the end of the season. But for the most part, his relationship with Dak is a really good one. He actually gets Dak to compete with him throughout the whole episode, where they're throwing this kind of accuracy type drills and stuff like that. So he has a really good relationship with Dak. I assumed he had a really good relationship with Dez, that he really understood Dez, but apparently maybe that relationship wasn't as good as we thought, being that Dez thought that Garrett guys got him up out of there. There's a scene where I actually did a preview of it, and a lot of you guys had a chance to see it, where he went off on the scout team for not giving a good look that day and just pretty much brother-in-law out there. So Jason Garrett is somebody that is respected, well respected in the organization, and he definitely has his footprint on things. So a lot of times we blame Jerry, we say Garrett's a puppet for Jerry, and Jerry's making all the decisions. But I'm here to tell you guys, it's quite the opposite. Jason Garrett is really running a lot of the things going on, and you need to blame Jason Garrett if you're going to blame anybody. Now, for me, I gained a lot more respect for Garrett, being that I coach, and I know that it's really hard when there's things that happen that you can't control. But with that being said, Jason Garrett, in my opinion, should be on the hot seat, and he should have 1 year to get things turned around. And if he doesn't, he should be gone. That's the way that I feel about it. I'm pretty sure that's the way that a lot of you fans feel about it as well. But no longer will I call him Red Top, Carrot Top, or whatever. He is now promoted to Jason effing Garrett, because he drops all those damn F-bombs. Oh, yeah. John Stephen Jones, the son of Stephen Jones and grandson to Jerry Jones, is a freaking beast. You see a clip in there right before the Seattle game where he led his team to the back-to-back state championships. So it was the second year, and he leads a monstrous comeback. I think it was like maybe 3 minutes left or something like that, and they were down 10, and they end up winning that game. He threw for 500 yards, but that was probably the only time in the whole series that you see Stephen Jones showing that he's just human, man. And he just like breaks down, and he's crying, he's hugging him, he's kissing him, and all of that stuff. But man, that young kid can play. I think he's committed to Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. And I would not be surprised if one day he's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback, man. I just thought that it was really ironic that he wore number 9. I do remember at times, I think that Tony Romo might be invested in him at some point, because I know that he went to the game last year in the state championship game in AT&T Stadium. I do remember that. I do know that Romo has gone on vacation with the family as well. So him wearing number 9, I'm pretty sure Romo has had some effect on his growth as a quarterback, and I can't wait to see him play. But I thought that it was pretty cool that they had him featured in there, and just to see him actually play, man. The kid has skills, man. I hope that he does really well at Arkansas. And last but not least, we're going to touch on the real blood that runs through the veins of this team, Mr. Ezekiel Elliott, a.k.a. Zeke the Freak, a.k.a. 2-1, a.k.a. hand me the ball 30 times a game. That guy right there, man, there was a point in where they didn't know if he was going to play or not, and it just appeared that the coaching staff was just kind of in panic mode whether or not he could play or not. But in my opinion, Zeke is coddled a little bit too much, man. Gary Brown was in there like, how you doing today, champ? How you feel? Oh, you was sleepy? You overslept, man? All right, well, then go ahead and take a shower, man. Get out to practice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they understood what he was going through, so they kind of coddled him a little bit. But in my opinion, I'm going to draw a conclusion from that. Because when he came back from Cabo, from the 6-week suspension, man, they were so happy to see him. They were just elated, man. Everybody. It just brought a light in everybody's life. And really, I was starting to wonder, I wonder if that was Dez Bryant at some point. I wonder if that coddling led to what Dez Bryant became, which is somebody that still believed that he was at a high level, but once they were done with him, they were done with him, and he just didn't know how to handle it. Is this a foreshadow of what the relationship will be with Zeke once they get somebody else in here? Because I just found it a little bit strange how they were just so, you know, they just treated him like he was a baby. But I understood, though, like, I understand that he is the team. He is the best player on the team, hands down. But the calling of him, I don't know, man. Like, for me, I want my superstars to lead by example. So what I mean by lead by example, I'm not saying he didn't work hard or anything like that, but get on his ass, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we didn't see that at all, but from what I saw from Gary Brown, but he did that with everybody, so I'm not going to say it's just Zeke, because maybe that's the type of coach that he is. But I saw it from Garrett, I saw it from Jerry Jones all the way up, man. They just seemed like, oh, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And that's how these guys probably walk around, and that's why we haven't won something. We haven't won in 20-something years, so let me know what you guys think about that. With that being said, man, this had to come to an end at some point, man, my review. And let me get to the review part. I thought that everything was great, man. I thought that the quality of the camera work, I thought the quality of the production was A+. I thought that the sound bites, the clips, everything that they picked, I thought that the narration was great. I thought that it was head and shoulders above anything that Hard Knocks has ever done, in my opinion. Maybe I'm a biased homer. I'm not sure. You guys can let me know. I don't care. It wouldn't be the first time that I've heard that. But I think that the series was great. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. And I wish that they did this every year, but they don't. And we'll see what they do with another team or whatnot. But I will tell you what. From now on, I'm probably going to watch the rest of the All or Nothings that I missed before, Seasons 1, Season 2. I am definitely a fan of the series, and I'm actually grateful that they did it for our Dallas Cowboys. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you can get every video that I do. And also, let me know what you thought about my review. Let me know what you thought about certain situations that maybe I got wrong, or maybe you interpreted different. You know, I'm not opposed to different opinions, and I welcome it. So thank you guys for tuning in again, and I'm out. Peace.